Welcome to part 2. I've had a little bit of a break. So, okay, this is a continuation from the very exciting part 1. Okay, so I'm gonna get back into it. So I'm gonna explain that, that kind of delicate or quieter, constant message that has been there the entire time I've had the reading open, regardless of how the energy has shifted. And it's the second time I've said that, so I think that in and of itself is probably the message, okay? There is a lot of potential disruption and turmoil and change and transformation of all kinds of flavors happening collectively on this really kind of wide scale. But there is something really beautiful that is happening. It is happening. It's being communicated to me here as like a new shoot. It's like new growth. And the warning aspect is basically that it's kind of being protected, so it is kept safe because it is something really special. And it's something really special between, I think, two people. Now again, as always, take it how it would resonate for you. It could be applicable to groups or whatever, but the really consistent thing is that there are two people. There are two people, and there is a connection between them that is new. It's just new, but it's got this significance to it. And so my guides, the cards, the universe are sort of saying, like, it's special. Just be mindful of certain things because it's got this significance to it, okay? Which I got, again, that came up in my previous reading, like this, okay, I got quite excited and was like, it's really significant. I don't want to kind of freak anybody out saying that, as in like scare them. Special was kind of the quieter, more gentle thing, right? It's like it's something special for people, and it's like if the loving warning is kind of heeded, it protects the special thing. Okay. So the two individuals are being represented as this Hierophant. So the Hierophant and the Page, this is one individual. And then the other individual is coming through as Strength and the Page of Cups. So I'll hold them all up together. Can she do it? Yes, she can. Okay, so this is one individual and this is another of them. Okay. But it was really sweet the way it was communicated, right? Because they're both coming through with these major energies, like the Hierophant and Strength are like big major arcana energies, but they're both actually kind of they're coming through. The thing that's kind of stepping forward with them is these Page energies, which are the youngest of the court cards. So it's communicating that idea of like new shoots, new growth. It's a new thing, but it's not an ace, right? Which would be like a seed. of potential. It's like it's more than that. So there is some cognizance, I think. I think they are aware of each other, like they're looking at each other visually, like in the way the cards are laid out, they're looking at each other, which is communicating to me awareness. They have an awareness of one another. But it's this new thing. It's a new awareness. It's got lots of growth still to do, right? Highly fertile Lilith and Scorpio transit, highly fertile, fertile for the new growth, fertile for the new growth, which this needs because it's in these early stages, okay? So this Page of Wands is this Hierophant, okay? They are one and the same. The Page of Wands is an aspect of this Hierophant. So the Hierophant actually came out with, the page came out after, okay? The Hierophant came out with feeling and reawaken. Feeling, reawaken. Which is pretty much what it says on the tin, so to speak. This Hierophant has had a feeling reawoken. He's had a feeling reawoken. Right, and the new shoot, the new shoot, the new shoot. So the Hierophant is a figure. It's interesting, this is quite a wild deck. This is the Pagan Otherworlds deck. Very appropriately for Lilith, okay? Very appropriately. So a Hierophant is like a keeper of sacred knowledge, okay? Keeper of sacred knowledge, sacred and profane mysteries. Very traditionally, he's depicted as a kind of priest figure, okay? So the only reason I'm really bringing that in is because traditionally the Hierophant would represent individuals in organisations and institutions such as churches, maybe kind of schools, universities. You know, that idea of where there is knowledge, there will be Hierophant type figures. And that is there with this one. This one does have knowledge, sacred and profane knowledge, okay? It's represented by the zodiac sign of Taurus, which is the opposite sign of Scorpio. It's not really part of the main message, but Scorpio and Taurus are on a money axis. They're on a money axis. Okay. So this is like, this Hierophant has knowledge. He does hold the knowledge, but he's on the outside of the tradition, or on the outside of the traditional kind of aspect of it. That's why I'm mentioning like traditional depictions of the Hierophant. It's like he's kind of on the outside, like Lilith, right? Whether they cast themselves out of something or they were cast out of something, the point is they are this very strong figure, but they are on the outside. They're an outsider. They're an outsider. But the archetype of Taurus was coming through super strongly with this. So to give you a bit of an idea of what that is. So Taurus is like a fixed earth sign, just represented by the bull. It's a creative resurgence of spring. It's that kind of energy. So a lot of fecundity, and there's all this fertility. Do you know what I mean? Like fertile. Taurus rules the second house, which is a money house as well, but it's a bit different, right? Because it's more of a personal. If the 8th house is other people's money, taxes, inheritance, things like that. The second house, it rules like assets and values. Taurus is ruled by Venus as well, okay? So assets, values, money and things of material value, what we appreciate and are attracted to in a general sense, personal finances, how personal resources are built, money matters, possessions, your personal values, what you value, and attitude to wealth. So that's the second house thing, because Taurus rules the second house. But Taurian energy, like the archetype, it's very pragmatic, very practical, it's gracious, tenacious, very grounded, right? Very stable, strong with that. Think about like bulls, yeah. Talented, supportive, resourceful, and nurturing because of the Venusian aspect. Yeah, it's a symbol of like the vast capacity for hard work and of all the natural instincts, especially those of preservation, sensuality, and sometimes like an exaggerated propensity for pleasure. So like can be quite an indulgent sort of energy. But it can be associated with the materia prima as well, which is like an alchemical concept, right? So like the primeval substance, which is identified with the element of earth and the earth mother again. Yeah, so powerful and widespreading, slow moving, stable, solid, concentrated and fixed. It accumulates properties that are deeply terrestrial, right? It's very, very earthy, is Taurus. Bestows an animal nature linked to the instincts and especially like acute sensory perception via sort of sight, smell, touch, vision, right? Very sensuous, very sensual. That's the archetype of Taurus. So it's describing a person. They don't have to just throw it over. They don't have to be Taurus. They don't have to have that particular personal astrological association. It's just saying the things that I've kind of just spoken about there. They've got some, or at least, you know, they're very in that. They have those characteristics. They have some of them. It's kind of a very prevalent thing for them. So they're this really well developed, kind of big, wide-spreading, stable, pragmatic energy. But they've had a particular feeling reawakened by this Page of Cups strength energy. They've had this, so the aspect of them that's kind of stepping forth. I think this is what has been reawakened, because it was coming through as like quite a playful aspect. And like the Page of Cups as well, right? It was coming through as like a playful, very curious, sweet and pure aspect of this Hierophant, right? Not kind of potentially jaded or just kind of bogged down with life. It's like there's this aspect of them that has been enlivened, right? But the Hierophant can talk about like belief and faith as well, like what sort of broadly represents belief and faith. So how this was coming through is that they see someone as a blessing, and this is a firmly held belief for them. which, to reference my previous reading again, it's like this other one, the one that in this one's eyes is a blessing, will know when they get to them. So that's the pulling through to the future point. This one considers somebody a blessing. They see them as a blessing. But it's like the only way that, the way that this one is going to truly understand is when they get to the Hierophant, when they are with this one. But it's a very firmly held belief. They consider this Strength, Page of Cups energy to be a blessing. Which might, you know, so the fact that they've had this feeling reawakened in them, and it came through as like a lost feeling or a specific type of feeling that it's been hard for them to access for a long time. But something about this other one, has kind of helped them like find their way to it. They've been able to find it again. And so it's given them some peace. Right? They see someone as a blessing and it's brought them some peace. There's this goodness of heart. There's a goodness of heart here. But then, so they have the mushrooms as well. So it's this kind of rediscovered or refound feeling, this reawakened aspect that's kind of, it's kind of roused this playfulness. If the Hierophant is quite a serious figure or has got a lot of serious considerations in their life, they've had this kind of playful aspect to them has kind of been called forth, right? It's called forth. It's kind of like their higher nature that I mentioned. It's like they're recognizing someone as a blessing, so it's called something forth from them. That again, it's like it's always been there, but right, they're cognizant of someone else now, so they're kind of rising to that. But this happened in a period of darkness with the mushrooms. This reawakening, or this finding this hard to access feeling, it's happened in a dark period. This connection, or this becoming cognizant of somebody particular, has happened in a period of darkness. I've written, much happens out of sight and in the dark. Even when it may appear as though not much is happening, there's actually much happening. Capital letters. And it's all really fundamental stuff. Even in difficult times, life finds a way. In brackets, Jeff Goldblum. Life finds a way. Right? So there's lots of stuff has been happening with this one that happens out of sight and in the dark, because perhaps all that's, I don't know, there's a lot going on. If the page is what's being presented, in a sense, it's like there's a lot going on with this one, and it's all really fundamental stuff like that. This reawakening of this kind of lost feeling, this lost aspect of self, this lost page energy, it's really fundamental. It's really fundamental. It's either tapped into something that I think they were feeling to have been out of touch with. Right, so the page. So the page is like an enthusiastic energy, yeah. It's enthusiastic, so it's like there is enthusiasm to do something, I think, like to kind of, to make a move, to do something, to pull someone closer, right? Like an action, like, because all that Taurian energy I was describing, that kind of pragmatism and that being able to build and sustain and be steady, it's like, if that energy wants to build something and make something happen, like they'll do it. They will do it. They will make it happen. It's very much in their nature to do that. If they see something that has a kind of appeal, something that they're seeing as a blessing, it's like they're acknowledging it as a blessing, at least to themselves. So there is this kind of enthusiasm, I think, to move towards it. It's that reawakened new shoot, right? Because the page came out with this potential energy here. So it was all very visual, was this, because this is like really powerful. It's just, this is always brings to mind the Guinness advert from a few years ago, from the 90s, was it? With the surfers and the horses that were kind of in the surf, right? So good things come to those who wait was explicitly what that advert was about, right? Good things come to those who wait. There's a need to sort of be patient. But there was this idea of like actualization and death. Not death, sorry. Depth. Oh, this scorpionic energy. Actualization. But maybe, right, for the transformation. Death is a transformation. So to kind of transform the new shoots, like to bring the growth in, right? There's a kind of a desire to actualize the growth because the potential is really strongly recognized. It's really strongly there. There is the enthusiasm and the kind of eagerness to take some action, to move towards it. It's just very powerful. It's really powerful stuff. Let me just see what I've got written down. Yeah, so there is the water that the horse is on, and then the sun rays behind its head. So that was confirming like water and fire. It's page and page, right? The page of fire, the page of water. It's like the potential and the sun, consciousness, the mind, right? It's like the potential of that connection is really like bright in somebody's awareness. Like they are, if it's not already, it will be. I think it will be. It's like it's very strong. It's kind of really fueling this desire to do something about it, There's consciousness and emotion, okay? So it's that, because in my previous reading, it was like this deep emotional fulfillment, this kind of wish. This wish, right? This wish here. The blessings, the wish. They've recognized their blessing, their wish, right? Trying to pull it in. But good things come to those who wait. It's like there is this endurance and stamina that's kind of needed. Yeah, the Hierophant page has seen the potential in, there is strong potential for. And I've written full tilt as well, which is like with maximum energy or force at top speed. I think there is like this, the warning relates to, because of the energy I've described, right, of the next few months, it's very potent and very powerful. It can fertilize what needs to grow. It can fertilize the new shoots, but it can also be quite volatile and quite big and powerful. So there's a warning about any kind of potential urges to kind of suddenly do something, because it's special, right? It's something beautiful, it's something special, it needs its time. This one specifically they need time to do something. It's a warning with this one about like eager haste. Just the potential is there, the strong potential. Be careful of eager haste and sudden kind of movement in the direction of somebody else, because like I said, there's definitely the capability, the fucking like the nous, the kind of traits of making things happen, right? And commitment as well, like commitment to make something last, right? To kind of do that. They're a builder. Hierophant, commitment as well, like Hierophant, sacred figure, right? Commitment. Like they make commitment to things. The potential commitment, it's all there. It's been emphasized really strongly. It's all there. So they came out with this tide pool energy. So the tide pool is about weathering the ebb and flow, okay? But it also talks about like an oasis in a hostile environment. It's like an unassuming oasis in a hostile environment. And I think because it's water, it's like the unassuming oasis is this one. The potential with this one, the feeling, the blessing with this one, or just this one, is like this kind of oasis of kind of calm amidst, right, what can be quite kind of volatile, disruptive, bigger energies that are just moving through the world in the collective. It's like there is, this page is like an oasis. It's sort of, this page is the oasis. But unassuming, right? It's like they might not be aware of that, actually. Or they're just very unassuming with it, right? They're just very unassuming. In the way that they are, perhaps. Right. But there was, so because there is all this big potential and it's a blessing and there's all this big energy and there's a kind of urge, potential urges, just do things. Because patience, and there is this idea of like a loving warning of just like it needs to play out in its own time, is there might be a little bit of concern that if potential isn't acted on, if something isn't done about this potential, it's like there isn't any need to be concerned that something will be lost, okay? It's this idea of like the tide always comes back. Nothing is lost, it will come back. Waiting will not result in loss. All capital letters, okay? All of them. It's like the message shouting itself at me. It's really important. Just because something has to kind of play out in its own time, and there has to be this kind of, I think at points maybe the sturdiness and the kind of steadfastness, it's like you're going to have to, if you're identifying with this energy, there are going to be points over the coming months where you're maybe going to have to root yourself and try harder than usual, perhaps, to not steam ahead with something, steam ahead towards someone, take some action. It's like, just because action isn't taken doesn't mean that something is going to be lost to you, right? Because it's this really special, beautiful thing. It's like the inaction protects it, okay? So then we kind of get here to the next cards were this strength that came out with impasse. It's also got the gecko. But this strength card, all of these cards, we're talking about this one, okay? So it's a similar thing here, where it's this big, like mature major energy, but it's this page. So the Hierophant, if you're identifying, resonating with that energy, the connection is with this strength page of cups. And there was something about like striking, a person who is striking in some way. Which I don't know, do I need to say that? Because I'm like, if someone's striking, they tend to be memorable, don't they? That's kind of, they're striking. But right, the Hierophant's been struck by the potential of somebody, struck by the potential of a connection or a feeling about somebody, right? Struck. But it could also, that's very subjective, because Lilith described, you know, she's described in her lore as often being very beautiful, okay? So maybe it might be someone who's just that, oh, hot, you know, hottie. But striking, that could be very subjective as well. It might be like a particular feature or a particular thing about them is striking. You're going to know that. I think that's why I'm saying it's subjective. Like, you're all going to know who you have found striking in recent times. So all this potential has been fired up and things are happening. So, yeah. But so the warning idea, right? There is so much protective energy around this one, right? They've got the bear, which is like, this is an ancestral energy to me. So they've got all this ancestral energy around them. But the impasse, they've got all Lilith, right? Lilith is showing up arguably kind of more strongly with these other cards here. There's like a strong Lilith ancestral thing around them. And this impasse, let me just get my cards sorted out. This impasse, right, it's kind of, it's not an impasse for them. That wasn't how it was coming through. It came through as like, it's not a true impasse. It's actually there to guide and protect. Okay. The impasse is not an impasse true, but it's there to both guide and protect you. Got a little rhyme. So it's like this one's showing up as strength, okay? So they've got strength to them. I'm going to say they've got a very strong imagination. They've got a very strong intuition. Intuition is very important here. But there is something about, there was this idea of like resistance training, like strength training, but focusing in on a particular thing. There's a particular thing that needs strengthening because they're already showing up as pretty fucking strong, right? So it's like, there's something about them having this page. There's something about them needing to have a stronger belief in what they're capable of. So it's this intuitive, imaginative, intuition and imagination. It's like it's very powerful. It's very strong in them, right? It's very strong in them. It's a strong blessing for this one as well, okay? But there's something about with the strength training, the resistance training, it's like they need to have a stronger belief in what they're capable of. Because I think this Hierophant is perhaps, that might be part of what the potential is, or it might be an aspect of what this Hierophant has recognized, what they consider a blessing. It's like they're very strongly intuitive, is this one that they're connected to. This Hierophant is connected to, and it's this special new shoot thing. What this one has got going on independently of that is that they're very intuitive and very imaginative. It's kind of how they function, I think. It's really kind of, because it was coming through as it's like it's part of their lineage, it's part of their lineage. And I've just put, someone's really fucking good at something, but they don't believe that they are. It's like they're not someone else sees their potential loud and fucking clear, but they don't see their own potential quite as strongly, I don't think. Which is which is going to be this kind of personal inner thing. That's their personal stuff, isn't it? Like not seeing their own potential. But there's something about, if they struggle to see their own potential, if that can be a bit of a block, if they don't see their own intuitive strength, if they don't understand that, or they don't, it's like they know a lot intuitively, they can imagine a lot, important faculties for manifestation, for creating things, making things happen. But if they don't actually believe that they're very good at doing that, or they're not believing their intuitive messages, or what their imagination is indicating to them is new, it's this new thing, they're creating it, then it's going to be a kind of block to them getting it, right? Oh, so previous message again. So the pulling through, it's like the Hierophant is doing something, or can do something, that's not sudden, and it's not kind of rash, and it's not any of those things that are being advised against. It's like something steady and grounded that they can do that helps this one believe in their intuitions. The Hierophant can show them something. The Hierophant Page of Wands can show them something about their intuitions, so they can start to trust it more. Because they're really fucking good at it, right? who they are and what they do has big potential, which someone else has noticed and is starting to understand. So that's this Hierophant has noticed it. So it's like this Lilith and Scorpio energy might be quite challenging. It might be particularly challenging for them because they have to navigate it. They have to navigate it with their intuition. Because this was coming through as like map lines. Map lines, right? Intuition is the mode. It knows the safest route, the safest way to guide them through any tumultuous energy. But they have to trust it. They have to believe in it. They have to believe they can read the map lines. Because this was kind of coming through as when I meditated, it was like the vines or whatever they are started kind of glowing and shifting and moving, right? Which was like creating these gaps. And then you've got the gecko, which can negotiate these small spaces. It's really skilled. It's like this one can maneuver shifting landscapes, okay? They can do that. They do it intuitively. They've got this intuitive system that it's like it's ancestral, it's part of their lineage, but it's really strong and really powerful. But they maybe downplay it, or they just don't see it, but they use it, right? It's this mode that they use, that they're in. It's their nature, it's their wild nature, it's primal, it's primeval, it's primordial, it's always been there, right? It's this map, it's this way of negotiating, which might be part of what has struck this one as well. Very different from how this one operates in certain respects, maybe, but also might be part of what has been reawoken. Maybe like intuitive feeling, something, right? Because they see somebody else do it, they recognize that. So this isn't an impasse for this page, because they have the internal guidance system to negotiate it and to kind of maneuver it as it shifts and changes, right? A shifting landscape. Ha! But right, so why no sudden moves? Why? Because they have to be left to do this. They can only do this on their own. They can be supported and they can be encouraged from a distance. They can't, it's like they have to do it on their own. It's like a transition point that they have to get through on their own. Because they can, okay? That's the point, is that they can. And when they negotiate it, and they negotiate that by themselves, that's when they know their they know their strength. They know their strength. So from their point of view as well, because strength is fire, so they might have similar urges. They might have a similar urge to kind of, to move towards this Page of Wands, to do something, right? But I've written that it's like positive abeyance. It's like, if this is like a block, it's like to protect them so they can use their internal guidance system to navigate and negotiate in the way that they are kind of built to do, but they don't realize their own strength with that, or they don't believe their own kind of intuitions, so they're having to go through or they're just at a point where they have a particular transition to make that is going to really kind of test that and trial that, but it's for the purpose of having them understand and know their own strength. So positive abeyance, that's the warning, right? It's that any kind of slowing down or stoppage is temporary. They can't be disrupted when they're doing this. So the warning about the protecting something special, it's not because they literally have a force field around them, right? So if someone moves towards them, they'll bounce off and get hurt. It show up in, because they have to be left to do this and it's something they have to do by themselves. They can be supported from a distance. But if someone makes a sudden move towards them, even with the best of intentions, that would maybe be quite well received in its ways, right? It would likely complicate things, or it would convolute, it would do something. That is the protection for them, okay? But it's like, keep it simple, don't overcomplicate, because I think this one's got quite a lot to get through, and there might be some fear. It might be quite scary for them to do it, right? They might be having to do some things that they follow their intuition regarding, and they're doing them at a time where just the way things are in the wider world could seem more volatile, more precarious, but they're still having to make this transition. So it might be quite scary for them in some way. That could be part of it. So that's the safest route, the safest mode is their intuition, and they will get through it. But they have to do that, okay? Because there was something about like a crash course as well. But they've already got the depth. They've already got this depth to them, this intuitive depth, okay? So there was something about, relatively speaking, like this is going to happen in quite a compressed time frame, relatively speaking. But it's still going to be this kind of intense experience with quite a lot to it. And it's got to be done. It's a transition that's got to be made. It's like a death and rebirth energy for them, isn't it? It's like they've got to do it. So the part of them that maybe doesn't have the strong self-belief or doesn't recognize their own potential, that will be the bit that dies. And then the rebirth is that they fucking recognize their own potential fully. They embody their own potential. So it's this big thing. It's very personal. It's very inner. But there's something about Hierophant, Page of Wands energy that's a bit more outer in a respect, like earth and fire. This is like water and like inner strength. Yeah, like it's all of that intuition, imagination. It's someone's inner world, but it's very rich, very fertile. So it'll fertilize their growth, okay? Fuel, feed their growth. So what next? Yeah, so it's this page again, featuring often in this reading. The page came out with primordial. So I've already kind of mentioned like Lilith. So it's this idea of Lilith. Lilith's helping them do this. Lilith is helping them complete something and resolve something. And there's this idea of like reclamation as well. It's reclaiming this aspect of self. But it's strongly tied to to intuition. And there's something about the energies of this particular Lilith in Scorpio transit that is really conducive to, I suppose, kind of having it go along at a good speed, right? Thorough, deep, but it gets them through it quicker relative to another point in time or a different transit with different energy. It's like it's here to support them and carry, like to support them through it. So the way the Hierophant can support is being like steady. It's like that steady opposite force to all the volatility. So they just need to keep doing what they're doing and watch any kind of impulsive urges that come up, right? The special thing's there. It's not going to get lost or be lost if immediate action isn't taken or a kind of impulsive action isn't taken, right? It's special. It keeps being reiterated. It's special, and there's cognizance. The individuals, like independently of each other, they both have the they're aware of each other, okay? There's awareness, there's knowledge. Even if it's a very new thing, they don't know each other well. They might not have spent much time with each other, but it's like, just rest assured, be assured, it's all good. Okay, it's special. Something special. Something special. So yeah, just confirming they are, it's like they're rousing some energy that's always been inside of them, and it relates to the true will, which I've mentioned before in readings. I've written like they are true as well and can't keep a good one down. There's something for all this like power, all this strength and this Lilith Scorpio that's really kind of coming through for them. There's something very sweet and gentle. And I've written down here like it could be viewed as a lack of strength. But remember I said the strength training is like there's a particular focus for that. There's a particular thing. It's got more to do with self-belief. I think they're actually already incredibly strong. Certainly like intuitively, imaginatively. Leo rules the heart. All of that, right? They're coming through with all this water. They're very fucking capable. But they're also sweet and gentle, right? So that idea of dictamy that I think I mentioned with Lilith, it's like we can be this and we can be that, right? We can be sweet, we can be gentle, but we can also be like, you know, not one to be fucked with. Not one to be fucked with. Page of Cups is like earth and water as well, right? So there's this real faculty and power to give substance to their ideas. That's that true will. That's what needs to be strengthened. They see the potential too with this Hierophant, but there might be a bit of like, well, how would that happen? How would that be possible? So then there's maybe some kind of distance here. Or there's some real difference of circumstances, perhaps. So because this one is going through a transitionary period, that might mean for them they're going through a change of circumstances. They might be coming in from a proverbial wilderness, which could apply in a lot of ways, right? Could apply in a lot of ways. If, you know, love on the battlefield. If I would just kind of call this, I would say these two, this Hierophant Page of Wands and this Strength Page of Cups, it's like there's this really strong potential, regardless of what else is going on in a wider one, that's all kind of carnage and what the fuck, right? It's like all this kind of more difficult energy and wondering what the hell's going on, and it's a bit concerning, a bit worrying, but whatever. It's like someone's going to fall in love on the battlefield, but the battlefield is kind of the world, much broader sense, yeah. But it's this special thing that's quieter. It's quieter than all the loudness. The quiet thing is that for some people it's going to be like falling in love, right? So the transition that somebody is making is perhaps that hasn't been a thing for a while. Maybe they've been on their own, like Lilith kind of being at the edges of the desert. Not that this one has likely not been on a literal desert edge, but you know, that kind of, so it's like they're kind of coming back they're coming back into things, right? And it's a big transition for them. But really, like, this would be like a big rebirth energy for the whole reading, so everything for both of them, because the Hierophant's had a reawakened feeling, hasn't he? So it's like there's a big rebirth. So really for both of them, it's like they're both kind of coming in from some kind of proverbial wilderness to be in the wilderness together. Be in their own wilderness. Right, okay. So I've written here like primal intuitive capacity, the means by which the terrain must be negotiated, right? So it's just confirming what I was just saying previously about the impasse energy and the idea of like map lines that someone intuitively follows. It will lead them along to this connection, okay? It's where they're going, it's their future point, they're going there. But they will be guided by their intuition. The means by which the terrain must be negotiated. So they have to use their intuition. Because, right, like external things might not be telling them what their intuition is telling them. So primal, like most important, primary, fundamental. It is the most important way that this one kind of ensures or guarantees that they get where they're going. They have to follow their intuition. Which, yeah. So, right, so if they don't have the self-belief in it, that is potentially like harmful. That's not going to be great for this one. So there's something, yeah, resistance training. The more they negotiate with their intuition, the more they do it, the more that particular muscle gets strengthened. The muscle of self-belief, right? It gets strengthened. So they have to keep doing it. But it's always there. They've always had it, primal intuitive capacity. And then with the conch came out as well, which talks about like truthful speech and strength. So it's this idea of they are true, can't keep a good one down. And there's this idea with the conch as well, it's like communication, a call to action. Judgment call, right? Judgment, call to action. I've written breath of God. Breath of God. Breath of the universe. Breath of spirit, right? Breath of spirit. I'm not religious, so I don't often use the word God. Breath of God is what I've written down, but universe, spirit, whatever word you would personally like to interject there. You get the idea. I feel like I'm being a bit disrespectful, actually. But spirit, right? Breath of spirit. Spirit's call to action. Spirit communicating. And these communicate, right? this communicates, the page communicates. The page is communication. There's something with the receptivity of the cup, communicating what they receive. So it's saying truthful speech and strength, they are true. So maybe people think they chat a load of shit. They might, no, not that's, I don't know if that's right. It might be that, well, it might be that some people disbelieve them, which wouldn't be great for their self-belief then, would it? That might have something to do with it. But that's even more of a call to kind of follow the inner. It's more of a call to follow the inner. But the cards, and I keep wafting up here, breath of spirit, breath of God, this big judgment energy, it's saying like truthful speech. Universe has got their back, right? Universe has got their back. Heed the warning. Heed the warning. Right. I don't really like using the word warning often because I think it sounds, it's not like a threat. It's honestly like coming through as a very loving, having best interests at heart kind of thing, right? Because I think there is just this kind of really special thing, but it's kind of early days. There's a lot of potential that I think is very much recognised by the people who are involved. But it needs its time. Someone has got to do something that's very inner world, it's very inner. And they can't be rushed with it. So yes, encourage and support. I keep wanting to say, like, do what you do, keep doing what you're doing. I think the playful for this one, this playful aspect is really important for them as well. Okay, it's very important for them personally. It's something that should kind of never really have been lost to them. So it's a significant thing that it's come back. It should never really have been lost. So that's important for them. So there's protecting that for them as well, right? Because if it's the kind of new rediscovery and new reawakening, it's like, enjoy that. Enjoy that. Enjoy that for yourself. Getting that, really being that. Because that in and of itself has got a lot of potential, right? That's really special. So it's that as well, that kind of can't be rushed. So these two, I think, like a blessing. I think there's a shared blessing there, and it's recognized. It's recognized. But it can't be rushed. There is very kind of valid reason for that. Just be mindful of kind of the energy, right? Of the energy that I was discussing in part 1. Just be mindful of that, and just don't worry that if you don't reach out and grab something quickly that it's gonna go. It's like it just needs its time. It needs its time, but it's gonna grow. There's already growth on it here. There's already growth. There's already awareness. Right, is there anything that I haven't said that's ridiculously important? Reducing speed, increasing flow. Okay, that's in there somewhere. Reducing speed, increasing flow. Lilith is there at the birth of new things as well, because of all the birth and baby stuff that's associated with, that's in her law, right? She's at the birth of new things. So she's here to ensure that what needs doing before there is some kind of, the next stage begins. It's like some things, some particular transition has to be moved through by one, and I think somebody else just like enjoy the new feeling that's kind of been returned to you, because it should never have been lost. It should never have been taken away. I've also put correcting an unfair advantage, but I think that that would kind of relate more to the thing about, remember what I was saying about Scorpio and Taurus, the money axis, the 8th house, the 2nd house. I think there's a lot going on there. What I've just sort of discussed is that kind of message that stayed constant, right? Because it was special. It wants to be communicated, or it wants to reassure that that is always there. That connection, that specialness is always there. What I was kind of talking about with Scorpio and Taurus and the 8th house, when I was reading from my notes, the correcting an unfair advantage would be, I think, more applicable to that 8th house, man. That 8th house. Yeah, okay. And every force has an equal and opposite reaction, push and pull. So that was the steadfastness of this can kind of balance and help sort of, it's like the opposite force to any kind of sort of tumult that this one might be moving through in their strength training. It's like an anchor for them, right? I've also put, we are supposed to be enjoying ourselves. Healthy desire. Right, because some of this energy can be quite serious. Some of this energy can be quite serious, right? It can be quite heavy and it can be quite difficult and challenging. Personally and sort of more broadly. So we are supposed to be enjoying ourselves. There's always something to enjoy, right? That's why there was this special thread of a message was always there, never changed, never went. It's like there's this enjoyment. So even if there's dark times with this Hierophant, something's been reawoken, it's like you can enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. It's really important, man. Enjoy yourself. Okay, I think that's it. That's it. All right, thank you for watching parts 1. This has been part 2. Thank you for watching part 1. This has been part 2. Thank you for watching part 2. I think I need to go to sleep or something. Okay, bye bye.